He's the most daring of all Golden Age heroes. Also, he's a captain. It's Captain Daring, and he has some of the weirdest stories ever to show in Daring Mystery Comics. Today on Comicology, I guess. Captain Daring is unique in this series because he's not really like a superhero. He's more like a science fiction action hero. He's an action hero that exists in this wild, fantastical science fiction world. But the interesting thing about Captain Daring is that his narrative sort of revolves around this war. In his stories, there is a war going on between this like coalition of free humans and these underground humanoid fascists that live underground and are attacking. And it's really interesting because it is sort of like this analog for what was really happening at the time during World War II. So that's really interesting to look at. The first thing you need to understand about Captain Daring is that it's kind of hard to explain. You see this shirtless hunk right here? Well, this is Captain Daring. And you see this dog right here? This is actually an underground mutant hound, which we'll get into later. But then there's these guys down here who are, they're basically cave-dwelling Nazis. Yeah, dude, I thought long and hard about how to describe them, and that's the best I could come up with. The story begins with these giant machines of death emerging from the underworld and performing a sneak attack by rampaging across the countryside of America. They destroy homes and they set the farm belt ablaze. As you would imagine, people are kind of upset about it, but that's okay because the all-American hero Captain Daring has a plan to get back at those cave-dwelling jerks. He scrambles a crack team of fighter pilots and initiates a retaliation assault against the enemy war machines. Would you take a look at some of these guys? Look at this short one, and look at this long, scrawny one. So, I don't think everyone here is quite human. Um, it's it's no secret at this point that this is not necessarily Earth. At the very least, it could be explained as Earth in an idealistic future setting, really far into the future. It's a very interesting setting, and it's one of the great many touches that sort of enrich Captain Daring's world and set him apart from all the other Golden Age stories that were happening at the time. As a squad, they managed to make short work of an enemy dreadnought, which goes down in a tuft of smoke. When they return, however, their victory is short-lived as this woman, her name is Susan Parker, and she works for the Secret Service, she remarks that a small victory is nothing compared to the enemy's mighty ability to paralyze our gunners. Captain Daring, however, also has a plan for this as well. He wants to harness the sun's power, which he estimates they can use as a deadly weapon, since the undergrounders never adapted to the sun's rays, and so it should be harmful to them. So it's kind of a stretch. He's making a pretty big assumption there, but you know what? It's not too big a stretch. I would buy it. I would definitely buy into that plot point if they ever came back to it, which they don't. The humans begin their relentless assault on the underworld, destroying base after base and laying waste to army after army until, in desperation, the underworlders are pushed into a corner and both armies end up in a deadlock. Yeah, so the entire war between the surface dwellers and the underworld pretty much takes place on one page. And apparently it goes like this. Captain Daring leads battle after battle using his tremendous strength and strategic mind to immaculately destroy his enemies without any drawback, conflict, or tension. It's at this point where we learn that Susan Parker is leading an army of captured underworld dogs into the tunnels for a final strike. It's not explained where she got them, but she has them, and they look awesome. Meanwhile, Captain Daring and his personal fighter jet leading a coordinated attack against the last of the underworld forces. We're greeted to this amazing panel of a dreadnought exploding, and then we see these two panels of the dogs just laying waste. It's fracking awesome! Finally, we get this image of the underground general trying to get away, but Captain Daring puts him down with an axe to the back. Rather gruesomely, I might add. Then the war comes to an end, and humanity celebrates their victory by personally thanking Captain Daring, who is now apparently king for some reason, and Susan Parker is his queen. I guess. It's fine, I guess. It's great wish fulfillment. I mean, as far as Golden Age stories go, this one was at least entertaining. But it makes me wonder, the Underworlders in this story, they have this great big emerging attack, and then Captain Daring shows up, and they're pretty much on the defensive throughout the whole thing. I think if this story had any critical flaw, it's that there's no tension, there's no conflict. The Underworlders suck. It makes me wonder why they even bothered trying to take over the overworld. Oh well. Next story. In Daring Comics number 8, we get a brand new story. This one is titled The Return of Mad Dog Hitler. I'm sensing a trend here. This issue starts with Captain Daring congratulating his men on the new age of peace which they have earned, presumably by murdering most of the underworld Nazis from the previous story, when suddenly the Capitol building explodes. Literally explodes. All the delegates are dead, and Congress has been neutralized. Captain Daring looks up to find an aircraft with Hitler inside. Literally Hitler. Captain Daring commands his men to shoot down the ship, and they do successfully. Captain Daring then searches the wreckage only to find literally Hitler. Then, literally Hitler speaks like, "Yeah, you probably want to know why I'm here," which I do. I really, really do. We also see here that Hitler explains definitely that this story takes place in the year 3050. Thanks, Hitler. Now please explain what the hell you're doing in my comic. So then, literally Hitler begins to espouse his backstory, in which he and his two aides, Goebbels and von Schals, are frozen in hibernation, inside of a secret ice cave for over 1,000 years. Then, presumably due to the underground war, the cave was reopened and the three were able to escape. What? What? No, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. This is great. I'm invested. I'm here till the ride's done. So then, one of literally Hitler's aides knocks out Captain Daring by hitting him in the back of the head with what looks like a lead pipe. Then one of his other hench people hypnotizes him with an inferred mind control power. Then Captain Daring becomes a Nazi, and literally Hitler plans to use his advanced knowledge of future warfare to take over the world. Again. Guys, Captain Daring is a Nazi, and there's only one page left. How are they going to turn this around? So then, literally Hitler and Captain Daring team up to go on a rampage, decimating the forces of democracy, using the power of Captain Daring to immaculately destroy his enemies. Literally Hitler literally takes over the world. Literally. Then it ends. Right here on the bottom. We need to get issue 9 of Daring Comics to figure out how Captain Daring gets out of this one. Guess which comic series never made it to issue number 9? This one. You know, life's not fair sometimes. You know, one minute you're defeating the Horde and saving the world, and the next minute you're Hitler's mind slave. So I guess that's just it. It's over. The story was never revolved. I guess Hitler just wins. Yeah. No, seriously, that's it. I wish it were different. If I could, I'd write it myself. In fact, I might write it myself. I might produce this. You know what? I'm finishing this story. Mark my words. I'll let you guys know when it's coming out, but I'm going to produce the finished. I'm going to freaking end this. Go get started on that. Anyway, guys, thanks for reading this comic with me. It was ridiculous. Really on my edge of my seat there for a minute. I didn't start out liking it, but at the end, man, that was good. That was a good one. Anyway, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook, come read more comics with me because it is a blast. For now, I'm gonna go get started on finishing Captain Daring's saga. I'll see y'all later.